Hey guys, welcome to my studio. I'm Andrea. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. Today I want to share with you what you need to know about sublimation. Okay, so our first question may be, what is sublimation? So sublimation simply is when a solid material turns into a gas without going through the liquid stage. So it starts as a liquid, obviously, it's the ink, but when it's on the transfer paper, the sublimation paper that you use, it comes through your printer, it's on a solid now. So it's on your sublimation paper, and whenever you put heat on it, there's no liquid. Like, it doesn't turn back into a liquid and press through the shirt. It turns to gas. That's why it's like 400 degrees for 60 seconds. You're making it go from a solid on the paper to a gas state and directly into the fabric. So that's the best way that I can explain it. And I think Google gave a great definition. But yeah, there's no liquid like dry time. So once the design is done, like once you peel the paper off, you don't have to let it sit like you do with maybe doing screen print. It's just instantly dry, done, and you're ready to move on with the project. So I hope that was a good explanation. I hope you guys understood that. If you have any questions, comment below. Okay, moving on. So you need a printer that you can fill the little tanks with ink. So here is the Cosmos ink that I like. And you can buy this in a set for like $40, I think it is. And you get all the colors you need to put into your sublimation printer. And I purchased this printer, and it works perfectly. I didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to adjust anything. I literally just put the ink in the little tanks and it was up and running in no time. So there wasn't really a conversion you had to do. The only thing is the printer did come with its own ink, and you cannot put that ink in the printer. Do not do it if you're purchasing the printer brand new. Take that ink. If you have another Epson that you can use it with, great. If not, give it away, sell it, whatever. You don't want to put that in your printer to start with, like at all, because then you'd be trying to clean out the little tubes in there, and you don't want to mess with all that. You just want to go straight into sublimation. So you need your sublimation ink. You need a lint roller. This is very, very important. So very important. And you're going to see at the end why. You need a heat resistant tape. This is the Cricut brand. I love the Cricut brand. I've used other brands like off Amazon and stuff, which you can get this on Amazon, but I've used other brands from Amazon that I do not like. Actually, let me pull this one down. So I've used this one from Amazon. I don't like it. I don't feel that it sticks well. It's so thin. I don't recommend this gold kind at all. I do recommend the Cricut kind. All right, then you're going to need parchment paper, and I use butcher paper as well. So I use butcher paper to put in between my blank so that the design doesn't get pressed all the way through. The ink doesn't go all the way through, and I use it on top of the sublimation paper when we're actually pressing it to just protect it. And that's what this is. This is the sublimation paper, and I'll pull a piece out for you. So it has a white front, and this particular brand has a blue backing. And it's just like regular paper, only it's sublimation paper, right? So the other thing you're going to need is a heat press. Now, I did order the 9x9 Cricut Easy Press. It should be on its way. It keeps saying processing though on my on the website, but it should be on its way. I ordered it a while ago. And so I'm just using my regular heat press that you guys will see today, my 15x12. And I think that's everything. Oh, and of course you'll need Cricut Design Space and a design that you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead, jump into Cricut Design Space. We're going to make the design. We're going to we're going to prep and press the shirt and print everything out. You're going to get to see it all. So here we go. So here we are in Design Space. And the first thing I want to do is pull up an image. So I'm going to go to images. Now, if you wanted to, you could bring in your own picture, your own photo. That is going to be on another video. I'm going to show you how I make personalized items, but you could bring in your own photo, and all you're going to do is upload it from your computer and it's going to be a print file. So I'm coming into Design Space where I can look at all the different options that I have to see what I want. So there is a unicorn file that I really like that I want to make, and it's right here. So I'm going to just click on it and put add to canvas. Now remember, when you're sublimating and using Design Space, you only have a print area that is 9.25 by 6.75. That's as large as you can make it. So if you want a bigger file, you're going to have to go into something like Print Shop or just any other way that you can print a design out. You're going to want to do that from a different program, but this is fine for me. I'm okay with doing the smaller design, especially just to show you guys how it works. So now that I'm here, I can see my design. I like it. And if this was a vinyl project, we would be cutting out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors. Yes, we'd be cutting out 4 different colors. We'd have to layer them, which is super fun, and it is easy to do. But sublimation just puts it all into one thing and you just press it on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here, and this is my steps that I do it, so I remember that I'm doing everything that the process that works best for me. So I come up here to where it says basic cut, and I'm going to go down to standard, and it makes it like a print. Now it's a print file, and you'll see over here it's a print and cut. And then I'm going to go over to this down here, and I'm going to click flatten. So now that it's flattened, it's all one piece. So if we unflatten it, watch what happens. All these pieces in all their colors, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take it to make it, they're going to be individual. So see how not everything's on here? We don't want that. We want it to all be one piece whenever it prints out. So that's why we highlight it and we make it flat. So that's what flatten does. Flatten keeps it a print, then cut, like keeps it a print, and then it keeps everything together exactly like you want it to come out on your machine. That's what flatten makes it. That's how you make your stickers. That's how you make your printables, so that everything sticks together and keeps the image exactly like you want it. So there's your lesson on flatten. I get so many questions on flatten, and it can be confusing, especially with all of your other options. But flatten is just how you make a print and cut, keep everything together. Okay, so that was easy, right? So now we're ready to go and click Make It. So we're going to click Make It up in the corner, and look, everything's where it needs to be. And now we can just send this to our sublimation printer that has sublimation ink in it, and it will print it out. Okay, so now that we have the design, I want you guys to just kind of take a look at this. From here on out, I do not need the Cricut. I'm not going to be cutting this image out. I'm going to leave it as a print image on a plain piece of paper, on my sublimation paper, and I'm going to just come in with scissors, and I'm going to cut around the edge so that black registration mark comes off, because I don't need it since I'm not using the machine to actually cut it. And the reason I'm not using the machine to cut it is if you see all the little white lines, that's going to cut it out like it was an individual piece. So every little piece is going to be cut out, and I'm going to have to layer it on, and we don't want that. We want to just be able to take it from this sheet that it prints out to put directly onto my sublimatable blank. So if you have any questions on that, make sure, feel free to private message me. I get a lot more private messages, and I totally am great there. That's absolutely fine. I appreciate those. I know some people are like, I don't really like to post, and that's fine. But if you have any questions, please reach out. I want you to fully understand how this works so that you can get the most out of your machine and the things that you purchase and buy. So now that we're ready to go, I'm going to click continue. And it's going to say send to printer. So now I'm going to click send to printer. And I do not want it to bleed, because we're going to be pressing directly from here. It's not cutting it out. So we're going to shut the bleed off. And up here, it asks me what printer I'm using. So normally with you guys, when I'm printing, I use my HP. But because I'm doing sublimation, I have to use my sublimation printer. So you want to make sure that that one's clicked on. And then it says use system dialog, and we absolutely want to do that because that's how we can determine how the colors are going to come out and all of the things that help your design look really, really good. So the next thing we're going to do is go to performance or preferences. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on, guys. Okay, preferences, and then it's going to ask you, okay, how do you want it set up? So I want it to be portrait. I want it to be, I pick the matte paper. I think that works best for my printer. Your printer, it'll depend on how you have tested and checked out. The quality, I want it to be high. I want it to print the best that it can print. I want it to print in color. And two-sided is off. I only need one. And I'm good. So now I'm going to click OK. And that's it. Then we're going to send it to our printer. Okay, so this is the sublimation paper that I use, and I'll have it all linked below, but you get 100 sheets. It's a really great price, and it's for light colors. So it's for on white shirts, mugs, bags, things like that. And then behind it is my sublimation printer. So I use an Epson 2770. I'll have it linked below. And this you just fill up yourself. So you have all of your inks go right in here, super easy to fill up, but you do have to use sublimation ink. You're not going to want to put the ink that comes with the printer, the Epson printer, inside of these little areas. You want to keep it free of any of that. So now I have my sublimation printer in the back, and it'll feed down through, and I'm ready to press print on my computer. Okay, so here you can see it's not very bright, it's kind of muted in color, but if you remember the colors on the computer, they are much greener. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up so that you guys can see how I'm just going to prep it, and we're going to press it on to the shirt. Okay, so I just set my heat press to 400 degrees for 60 seconds, and now I'm going to prep the shirt, and we're going to cut out our file. So remember, we printed this out as a print and cut, but we're not going to actually use the Cricut to cut it out. So I need to cut off the registration marks so that they don't leave any black markings whenever I press the shirt. So I'm just going to cut around it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and now we can get rid of this piece. Oh, sorry, I did that right by the microphone, guys. Okay, and now I'm just going to grab whatever else I need. I still need my parchment paper. Here it is. So I have my parchment paper, and you can reuse your parchment paper if there's no ink on it. But if there's ink already on your parchment paper, you want to throw it out. So I have my parchment paper. I have my butcher paper, which I'm going to put inside the shirt so that the ink doesn't go through once it's pressed, because that can happen. It can transfer all the way through your blank, and then you'd have a weird mark on the back. So we don't want to do that. So I'm going to cut out a piece of butcher paper. And again, if your butcher paper doesn't have ink on it, you can reuse that too. I pretty much try to reuse everything that I can because it helps save money on your product. So what I do is, because my butcher paper has a waxy side and a regular paper side, I fold in on the waxy side, and that helps with without it sticking to your fabric. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to make this as quiet as possible, but I know the microphone is picking all of this up, so I apologize. All right, so our butcher paper is ready to go. This is our blank. So this is a 100% polyester t-shirt. I will tell you, some people do not like the feel of 100% polyester, so I would go for the highest polyester count you can find. If they're like, I don't want like 100% polyester, do what you can. I know Target sells them. You can find them online. They are hard to find though. I mean, I have trouble finding ones that are in a price range that I can make a profit off of, because I do make this for a business. But for you, it might not be a big deal to buy one or two, but when you're buying 50 and 60 of these, the price can go up. But you want the best quality that you can find. That's what I always stress whenever you're making a product to sell, or you want to last a long time. You are going to have to put a little more money into it so that you're getting really good quality. So here's what I normally do. I bunch up my shirt and I slide the butcher paper in. Now I'm going to try to do this without talking so that I can maybe edit out the sound so it's not so loud. So now that that's in there, I'm going to take a lint roller and I'm going to go over the entire shirt area that it's going to be pressed on. With sublimation, it is kind of finicky, because if anywhere on the shirt has, say, a little piece of lint, or it's overpressed or underpressed, it can leave like a bluish black dots. It can leave, sublimation is tricky when it comes to wanting it absolutely perfect. I find it tricky, but if you're using a background color, it's a little bit easier, and we'll be getting into that this week too. So for right now, we're just doing our plain white t-shirts with a sublimation design on it. So I think I got everything off of it. And mainly what I'm trying to get off of it right now, I don't know if you can see it, are all these little teeny tiny pieces of lint that I didn't even see whenever I looked at it. It looked clean. It looked like there was nothing on it. But when you roll the lint roller, you pick up a ton of lint. So now that that's lint rolled, I'm going to take the unicorn and I'm going to line it up about where I feel the center of the shirt is. You can fold the shirt in half, press it so that way there it goes exactly in the center that you. All right, so the next thing I need is the heat resistant tape. So this is one thing that people tell me, oh, I got tape. I'm going to use painter's tape. Painter's tape can burn, and it will leave a sticky residue on your shirt or whatever you're making. I have heard people say, no, it doesn't. I haven't had any luck with using painter's tape. I did try it to see how it worked and if it would work for you guys. It left a residue on the shirt, and I don't want you guys to ruin a shirt just because of the painter's tape, right? So you need to have heat resistant tape, and you're just going to tape the design so it doesn't move. And that's the main thing for the tape. You just don't want your design to move while it's being heated. Okay, so it's all ready to go on the heat press. My heat press is ready. It's set at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Now I need the parchment paper. So I'm just going to lay the parchment paper over it, and I may have to readjust it once I get onto the heat press, but that'll be fine. Oh, and you know what else I want to do, guys? I want to put a piece of heat resistant tape on the inside as well to hold down my butcher's paper so that it doesn't move when I'm moving the shirt from the table to the press. So that's just a little tip there, that it will move and shift because polyester is a very slippery fabric, and you just want to make sure that it stays. So I'm going to move my heat press off to the side. It is hot. Did you see the smoke come off of that? It is really hot. And now I'm going to, I'll transfer it this way. I'll put it on my press. Just kind of eyeball it and make sure that the butcher's paper is completely under the design. If it's not under the whole front of the shirt, that's fine, as long as the entire design is completely protected underneath. And then I'm going to push this, put my parchment paper on top of it. And then I'm going to push my machine back into place. And I'm going to go ahead and click go. So now that's doing all the work. Remember, we need that extra heat, that high heat, to get the transformation to skip the liquid and go directly to the gas state that's going to infuse it into the shirt. And I want to remind you guys, if you're using infusible ink, it's the same process. You're just not having a printed picture, right? So infusible ink and sublimation are the same thing. So I just want to keep reminding you guys that, because some people think, well, now I have to buy a sublimation printer, and no, you will just have to do layers. If you're making an item that has layers, you just have to cut multiple pieces of the infusible ink. Sublimation, you just print it out and press it. That's the only difference, really. So it's almost done. We're counting down. We're at 11 seconds. And I kind of hope there's some blue specks, because I want to show you guys what happens if it wasn't completely cleaned off. Okay, so it's ready to come off. Now this is going to be super duper hot, right? Okay, I'm going to pull it off. There's no ink on this piece. Oh, sorry, I just covered my mic. There's no ink on this piece, so it should be fine to reuse. I'm not seeing any blue specks yet, but I'm hoping that some, even just if like 1 or 2 come out, then I can show you guys how it works. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and peel. This is really hot, guys. I just want you to know this is super hot, so be careful. Did I get anything? There is a little line. That's actually really good. I'm glad that there's a little line. But other than that, it looks so cute, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my parchment paper out, or my butcher's paper out. Look, no ink. You can reuse this. Don't throw it out. Like, you can absolutely reuse it. Here's the underside of the actual design, the colors that are still in there. And are you ready? Look how cute. It turned out so cute. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys a close-up of it and kind of just walk you through another, just quickly walk you back through how we did it, and ways that you can make it better or easier or kind of up your game on it. And yeah, so it'll be just 1 second and we'll be back. Okay, guys, so here it is. You can see there's a line right through here, a line here, and there's little itty bitty tiny specks that are appearing. And that just happens sometimes. Like, I haven't been able to find the perfect way to sublimate. And I talk to my mentors and people that have been doing this for years, and they're like, it just happens. It can just happen. You want to get a good quality blank. You want to get good sublimation ink. You want to get good sublimation paper. And if you do all those things and you follow the heat and the press and the all of the rules, this can still happen. And that's okay. This is why I suggest, if you're making something to sell, that you're getting the best quality. And be willing to kind of like make mistakes. So when it comes to sublimation, I always order extra. That's why sublimation items for me cost more than a regular vinyl project, because there's always room for error. There's always something that could happen whenever you're pressing it, because you're working with a gas. You know, you can't really guarantee what's going to happen. So that's it, guys. I hope this was helpful. Tomorrow, we're going to have another project, but we're going to be sublimating on a cotton shirt, and I'm going to show you all how to do that and everything you need to know about sublimating with cotton. Okay, so if you're not signed up for our Facebook page, definitely go check that out. We're going to have a live on Monday, February 21st, and it's how to make all different signs using all different materials and your Cricut. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely leave a comment below with any questions, and I will talk to y'all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.